Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
U.S. authorities imposed sanctions on a Jamaican Islamic cleric suspected of having links to ISIS. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, December 6th from the CMC News Center in Bridgetown. I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. The U.S. Department of Treasury announced on Tuesday that Jamaican cleric Abdullah Ibrahim Al-Fazil has been added to the specially designated global terrorist list for providing recruitment services to terror group ISIS and influencing people to carry out terror attacks. The sanctions prohibit U.S. companies and Americans from doing business with him. They also block his assets in the United States and identify him as a high-profile target for law enforcement authorities. According to John Smith, the director of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, Al-Fazil has recruited for and provided support to ISIS, and his actions have influenced terrorists who engaged in bomb plots and other horrific attacks on innocent civilians. He said the designation will help deter Al-Fazil's global following and prevent Americans from supporting him in any way. Al-Fazil was indicted in New York in August on charges of recruiting and providing support to ISIS members. He's currently facing extradition proceedings in Jamaica. Still in Jamaica, public sector workers have suffered a setback in the resumption of wage talks with government. The Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA, said on Tuesday that the Ministry of Finance has requested that the meeting that was scheduled for Wednesday be postponed. It's now slated for next Monday. The JTA is looking on the bright side, though. It says it views the delay as an indication that government is considering a significantly improved offer, and it therefore looks forward to the talks with great expectation. Wage talks between the Police Federation and the Finance Ministry have also been postponed. But that is not going down well with the Federation, which represents rank-and-file members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Chairman of the Federation, Sergeant Raymond Wilson, said the group is very disappointed.
The Police Federation Central Executive is very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. The fact that having given the government 2 weeks based on a mandate from our members, based on a resolution, that 2 weeks ended Thursday of last week. We received a letter on Friday indicating that we're invited to a meeting 2 p.m. on Wednesday. And to learn now that that meeting is postponed, we are very disappointed. We have indicated that we have not accepted it as yet. We are urging the Minister Spencer, to reconsider. The members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the rank and file members, are looking forward for a response from us following the meeting tomorrow.
In Trinidad and Tobago, 2 police officers have been charged with helping businesswoman Vicky Boudram escape from prison last week. Police constables Levon Sylvester and Lisa Navarro appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Maria Busby Earl Cattle in the Port of Spain Magistrate Court on Tuesday, along with another woman accused of harboring Boudram. The fraud accused herself, who's awaiting trial on 175 charges, also made an appearance. We get more in this CNews report.
After being recaptured by police at a house at Lachuse Road, Penal on Thursday, November 30th, 35-year-old Vicky Boudram, along with 3 other people, PC Laverne Sylvester, WPC Lisa Navarro and Roxanne Kojo appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Maria Busby Earl Cadell in the 8th Court on Tuesday. Both officers, Sylvester Navarro, were charged with misbehavior in public office and were jointly charged with boudram, with dishonesty and fraudulent aiding the procurement of boudram. The two officers were granted bail in the sum of $300,000 each, while boudram was denied bail. The matter was later transferred to the Arima Magistrate Court to be heard on December 13, 2017. Roxanne Kojo, who had been accused of hiding Ms. Boudram, was charged with the harboring of a prisoner and was remanded into custody. She is to appear before Superior Magistrate Court on Wednesday, December 6th. Vicky Boudram escaped from the women's prison Golden Grove Aruka on Monday, November 27. A nationwide search had been mounted for her after her unauthorized release from prison was discovered. Boudram had also reportedly injured herself by using the wire of her bra, but she was treated at hospital and discharged.
Staying in Port of Spain, police are searching for at least 4 gunmen who reportedly stole $5 million during a daring daylight robbery in the heavily secured section of the Piarco International Airport on Wednesday. Police have not released any information on the heist, but media reports say the gunmen, armed with high-powered weapons, held up officers of a private security firm around midday and made off with the cash that was destined for Tobago. The media reports said the men dressed in camouflage clothing and wearing masks gained access to the tarmac and held up the security officers guarding a cargo cart containing the cash. And over in the Bahamas, police are moving to shut down gangs operating in the island. We get more in this ZNS Network News report.
Many crimes are linked to these alliances, but despite being enacted into law as a criminal offense back in 2014, gang membership cases haven't been forthcoming. But police say the anti-gang and firearms unit is far from dormant. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police, Stephen Dean.
They had a specific assignments to target some self-proclaimed gang leaders and gang members or persons who are known to be involved in trafficking of firearms and armed robberies. And we have been targeting these persons, paying some attention to them, using all of our resources in those directions. You have seen some of the results.
Those results have led to hundreds of guns being seized, 316 at the end of 2016, along with 4,900 rounds of ammunition, according to police statistics. But Mr. Dean says one charge or conviction is far from resolution on gang affiliation.
Can run up to years or months to tying into the critical evidence that you are dealing with. So it's not just that because I suspect somebody's in the gang, I could charge him under the gang law. We must do a lot of homework, which we are doing. 5
people were charged with being members of a gang in 2015 before charges were dropped a month later. Dean says still the multinational probes will continue and that he expects results.
So criminals are connected in the global world. So our investigations might lead us outside of country, sometime to tie a criminal conviction internally. So a number of work has been going behind it, and I can assure you in the ensuing months, you will see persons being brought before the court, charged under the anti-gang law.
And coming up in Caribbean Newsline, Barbados' Prime Minister accuses the CCJ of slandering the island's judicial system. The details of that story and more after the break.
Welcome to the gem of the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda. A warm welcome awaits you at our state-of-the-art VC Bird International Airport.
I must say that Antigua is in wonderful shape. 5 minutes off the boat and we're already in paradise.
Antigua was not that damaged by the storm as much as Barbuda was. The hotels are still open, the beaches are still clean, and the people are still friendly.
With Antigua, it's the people that really await you.
Hurricane Irma may have hit a little bit, but you can't even tell that it was ever here. The beach is wonderful. I'm having a great time.
Everything is just as we remember. No storm damage.
We're here and we're open.
And we're better than ever.
I do a lot of destination weddings, and I see weddings that could happen here, and they would be in love with it.
I can't say enough about how in love with Antigua I am.
It is one nation, 2 islands, and I'm loving it.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel, realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Barbados' Prime Minister Fundell Stewart has accused the Trinidad-based Caribbean Court of Justice of slandering the island's judicial system. The CCJ has bashed the Barbados courts on about 3 occasions for the time they take to hear and conclude cases. Publicly addressing the issue for the first time on Tuesday, Prime Minister Stewart told Parliament that such judicial delays were not peculiar to Barbados, but were an issue throughout the Caribbean.
Guyana, Belize, and Dominica have signed on to the court in its appellate jurisdiction. All the others still go to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. And when you read decisions coming out of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, as I do still, I make sure I see them, evidence of horrible delays are uncovered in CARICOM countries that have not signed on to the CCJ. But you know something, Mr. Speaker? The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council handles that issue of delay much less salaciously than seems to be the case when when the issue is being handled here in the Caribbean. These things are dealt with in one sentence, 2 at most, without any administering of rebuke or any holding up of a particular country to ridicule.
Stewart added that the government is trying to do its best to fix the problem, but insisted that the system is not going to function more efficiently if the country is held up to ridicule and the impression is given that it is not working.
The government is intending to make the sacrifice of making those resources available to the system, and of course to ensure that this problem can be handled in a way that does not do any harm to our finances, but at the same time that responds to the needs of the society.
The St. Lucia government says it has given an assurance to the European Union that it's prepared to work with it to address concerns that may have resulted in the island being included on a new list of global tax havens. St. Lucia, Barbados, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago were among 17 countries on a blacklist released by the EU on Tuesday. And Prime Minister Alan Chastanet told CMC News that he's awaiting correspondence from the EU to determine the reason for St. Lucia being included and ways in which amendments can be made.
The understanding is that the EU had contacted us a couple of weeks ago, and shore meant our current Sea Act, I think, specifically, but I need to get details from them specifically what it is. But the delay solution is not looking to be in contradiction with the EU, and we certainly would be looking to work with them in terms of satisfying both sides. But that being said, we're only hoping that these standards or high standards are also being applied equally, not just to the small states of the world, but also some of the larger countries in the world, which are in the same practices, which in fact our IBC legislation was copied from. Hopefully the EU is equally going to hold everybody accountable to the same standards.
And while the Caribbean territories that were blacklisted search for reasons why, the Cayman Islands is welcoming the news that it was excluded. It's something the Financial Services Ministry and the Premier Alden McLaughlin had been adamantly lobbying for, especially in recent weeks. The island's financial sector was concerned about the possibility of Cayman Islands again being placed on the EU's tax blacklist, so Financial Services Minister Tara Rivers welcomed the news that it wasn't. We get more in this Cayman 27 news report.
It was the proverbial dark cloud hanging over Cayman's financial services industry, the possibility of again being placed on the European Union's tax blacklist. But Cayman was declared cooperative Tuesday, along with 47 other countries. Financial Services Minister Tara Rivers welcomed the news.
And I'm very happy to see that Cayman Islands is not on that list as it relates to being non-cooperative. We certainly have been engaged with the European Union and demonstrating our cooperation since they launched this initiative back in 2016.
This move comes at a time when Cayman is thrust under the international microscope with last month's leak of the Paradise Papers. Tuesday's announcement sent a collective sigh of relief around the financial services industry here at home. We are at the forefront of regulatory and tax compliance and information exchange. The Cayman Islands meets or exceeds the highest global financial standards, sharing the same OECD rating as many EU member states. Premier Alden McLaughlin, in a statement on the EU listing, says the majority of Cayman's companies are not bricks and mortar, but they are also not letterbox companies. Rather, they are financial instruments that pool investment capital and facilitate international transactions. In addition, our transparency aids foreign tax authorities with their tax assessments. Minister Rivers says while this is a victory for Cayman, it does not mean the critics like Oxfam will be silenced. But she says government will not give up.
We will try to ensure that the world, including those organizations, have a better and develop a better understanding about the value that we add to the global economy and how the concerns that they have expressed in some respects don't, apply at all.
17 countries, including Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago and South Korea, have been blacklisted.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, Cricket West Indies medical panel hit by 2 more resignations. We'll have the details when we return.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Did you know that a strategy has been developed to help improve the region's education and human resources?
You didn't? Well, the HID strategy, as it is called, will guide CARICOM in how it delivers quality education and training to the people of the region.
The strategy has been crafted by a group of experts called the HRD Commission.
Consultations have been done across the region to get your input.
Do you know that none of us will be left behind?
The HRD strategy is important to all of us, students, parents, and employers. It will prepare the region, especially the youth, for the 21st century economy and society.
The HRD strategy, unlocking Caribbean human potential.
Come, sail with us through our ocean blues, where there's a blessed land that's waiting for you. Shh, look, listen, feel. Realize your dream escape that's magically surreal. The best kept secret, a place you'll never forget, where adventure beckons with every gentle footstep. From lush mountain green to warm volcanic sand, submerged in splendor, our 32 enchanting islands. A kaleidoscope of experiences. No need to look anymore. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Caribbean you're looking for.
Continuing with sports now, Cricket West Indies medical panel has been hit by 2 more resignations, including that of Chairman Dr. Donovan Bennett. The Observer newspaper in Jamaica reported on Wednesday that Dr. Bennett and Dr. Renee Best had both stepped down, following in the footsteps of Dr. Akshay Mansingh, who resigned as Chief Medical Officer last month, citing an untenable relationship with the CWI board. Dr. Bennett, who had previously warned that more resignations were likely to follow Mansingh's, said he had also found difficulties in properly discharging his duties. Dr. Bennett told the Observer, without going into specifics, quote, "The resignation has to do with some difficulties in carrying out our responsibilities. I don't think we got the type of support or respect that was due to voluntary professional people. It's the appropriate move to make to give the President room for him to have the type of panel that he is comfortable with," end quote. Dr. Bennett, a Jamaican Cricket Association Vice President and CWI Director, said his relationship with Cameron remained cordial. Dr. Anil Gupasingh is the last remaining medical doctor on the panel, which also comprises West Indies team physiotherapist C.J. Clark, strength and fitness coordinator Ronald Rogers, CWI Chief Executive Johnny Grave, COO Verlin Faustin, and Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams. Trinidad and Tobago cricketer Riyad Emrit is surprised at his inclusion on a 15-man squad named by selectors for the ODI series against New Zealand. Emrit, along with Jamaican left-arm spinner Nikita Miller, have new leases on their international careers. The Trinidadian has not tasted international cricket since he played a pair of ODIs 10 years ago in India, but he has reinvented himself as a dependable lower-order batsman and steady seamer in the T20 version of the game. Speaking with CNC3 Sport from Bangladesh, Emrit said his work over the period away from regional duty is finally paying off.
I was a bit surprised, I thought I might have may have been given chances, before, and I was disappointed before when I wasn't given the chances. But I'm thankful for the opportunity. Some say better late than never, but I'm really thankful, and I guess the hard work that I've put in, it's paying the rewards now.
Meanwhile, the 35-year-old Miller says he's looking forward to representing the region once more in international cricket. The left-arm spinner has taken an astonishing 23 wickets for Jamaica Scorpions in his only 2 games of the ongoing regional first-class season after missing the first 3 fixtures while recuperating from surgery. Speaking with TVJ's Renardo Brown, Miller said he's also hoping for a return to Test cricket.
It's a great feeling. It's always a great feeling when you're asked to represent the West Indies, the region. It's a proud region, and we're proud of our cricket, and I'm no different. Looking forward to the challenge. We'll go to New Zealand. It's always difficult to play against New Zealand in New Zealand, but whatever I'm asked to do, whatever job I'm asked to do, I'm prepared and ready to do so.
But while Miller's call could be seen as a delayed reaction by the West Indies selectors, Jamaica Scorpions coach Robert Samuels feels that with 2 years out of international cricket, readjusting could be difficult.
It's going to be very difficult, but the beauty about Nikita Miller is that he's a consummate hard worker. He comes in, he does what he has to do, and he makes it look easy. But he works very hard at his game, and he does what he does every single day, doing the same thing over and over, and he has mastered his craft. So it is difficult not to be in international cricket, away from it so long, and then to be called up. But he does what he does, and he's going to down there, and he's going to do what Nikita does.
But while an ODI call is what Miller is getting, there is a feeling the long version could suit him more.
I would still love it to be the test match series and not the one-day series, because in my opinion, I believe Nikita is a better test match bowler than a limited over bowler, but he keeps getting the limited over pick, so he's going there, and good luck to him. I hope he does his very best, and I hope his best is good enough. I'm a servant of the game, and whenever I'm called upon to do a job, I'm always ready and proud to do that job. So if it is, I'm still playing, I'm not retired. So if I'm asked to do that job at test level, I'm a big believer in test cricket. I love test cricket, and you know, I'd really love to play, but if I don't get the opportunity, I'll still support the team.
Still in cricket, West Indies women captain Stephanie Taylor has signed a new 2-year deal with Sydney Thunder, and she says her objective is to notch her maiden 2020 100 in the new Women's Big Bash League campaign, which bowls off this weekend. The stellar right-hander, who also bowls penetrative off-spin, has been a key member of the Thunder squad for the last 2 seasons and was central to their title-winning success in the inaugural 2015-2016 season. She is one of the leading players in the women's game with over 4,000 runs and 127 wickets in 108 one-dayers and 2,474 runs and 68 scalps from 80 T20 internationals. The Jamaican has managed 661 runs and 12 wickets in her first 2 seasons with Thunder, and General Manager Lee Gurman says she remained a definite asset to the franchise. Taylor joins the likes of Indian stroke maker Harmanpreet Kaur and New Zealand star Rachel Priest in a Thunder lineup led by Australia vice-captain Alex Blackwell. Sydney Thunder raised the curtain on the new season with a clash against Melbourne Renegades at Sydney North Oval on Saturday. And that's sports. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
A recap of the major developments of this day. U.S. authorities imposed sanctions on a Jamaican Islamic cleric suspected of having links to ISIS. And in sport, Cricket West Indies medical panel has been hit by 2 more resignations, those of Chairman Dr. Donovan Bennett and Dr. Renee Best. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to ConnorNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and good night.